Good afternoon from a very noisy and busy Wawa's. I got a late start today. I had a meeting this morning. I've got a ton of errands to do this weekend in preparation for celebrating my oldest son's birthday and Nikki's birthday. Happy birthday, Nikki. It's a beautiful day today. It is currently 58 degrees and still going up. So there was no way in hell I was not going out on a hike today. So I'm not going too far. I'm going up to the Jim Thorpe area to hike out to Tunk Hollow. But I'm going to get away from the pressure washing and all the people, and I will give you more of an update when we get up there. Welcome to the Pennsylvania State Gamelands, just north of Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, where it is 12 degrees colder than it was when I left home. I forget what a difference that change in latitude makes as far as temperature goes, but I've got my alpaca, I've got a buff, I do have my puffy if it gets really cold. But once I get moving, I'm sure I'll be fine. The sun is out and beautiful, and it's a gorgeous day. So this is the Tunk Hollow Overlook is where I'm headed. And there's a couple of different ways to get there, and I've been fighting with myself on what to do. For a 3.5 mile walk, I don't know how well you can see it, there is a road here, and that road goes straight back to the Overlook, and then straight back in. Out and backs are really boring, and this is just a road walk, so that's not terribly interesting to me. There is also a loop that follows the rim of the Overlook. I believe what we're overlooking is actually the Lehigh River, and I'll double check that on my map once I'm done talking to you. And I kind of like the idea of doing that loop, but that's like 2.5 miles. It's going to add another 1.5 miles to the trail. And as I said, I've got a lot going on today. But, you know, I didn't come out here to walk on a road. So I think I'm going to make myself go and do that loop. So I got my boots on already. It's very muddy here, not surprisingly. It looks like they had quite a bit of snow and it's all melting. So I've got my boots on, I've got my hat on. I just need to get my pack on and we will start exploring. I seem to run into these dilemmas quite often on these hikes. There's a trail listed on all trails. Not that anybody's hiked it, just that there's a path here. But as you can see, that's not much of a path. So the question is, A, is my GPS wrong and this is the wrong place? But I think my GPS is right because it's saying That is a trail, which does look like it goes back to the parking area. And we go right across the road here to that. So, I think I am going to try and go down this way a little bit and see how it looks. And if it doesn't start defining itself anymore as a path, I guess the decision is being made for me. I'm coming back and I'm just doing the road walk. Fortunately, I do have my micro spikes in the car, in my backpack, because this is pretty much solid snow and ice from all the melting. But it'll be a good test for that. All right, let's get into this Parker brush and see how it looks. All right, mixed results. The place where I was trying to get onto the trail led to what Deb has repeatedly described as a thicket of bullshit. A lot of Japanese barberry, a lot of thorns, a lot of grass, no trail. But the GPS was telling me I was in the wrong place, so I decided to see what the GPS had to say. And it led me back a little ways on the road and to this gap in the shrubs. I'm like, well, okay. But sure enough, once I stepped down from the road, I started seeing blue blazes. So, we are following the blue blazes, and I'm thinking this is probably right because I do also see remnants of dog tracks and human footprints. So other people have walked out this way. So I'm gonna go with the assumption that this is the right trail and see where we end up. I just had to stop, take my phone off of airplane mode, and send Deb and Nikki a text message because I realized I'd forgotten to give anybody my itinerary for today. I am not hyper vigilant about safety on the trail. I've never had any problems. Knock on wood. So I'm not carrying pepper spray or a gun. I do have some protection if I need it. But the biggest protection that I have, is my personal locator beacon, which I don't have today because it is in my car, which is still in the shop after 2 months. But usually if I'm out here by myself, I'll have that on and can signal for help if I need to. And usually I've sent my mom the track so she can watch where I'm at. But the more important thing I try to always do when I'm going out, no matter where I'm going out, is to let people know where I'm going. And that could be a very detailed set of instructions with maps and a phone number if you're going someplace complicated, hard to describe, or where you're likely to run into trouble. Or it could just be, I'm going to so-and-so park, it's over here in that town, and I'll text you when I'm back in the car. And 9 times out of 10, that's what I do. But today, I'm out of the area that I'm usually in, and I don't have my PLB. And so when I realized, hey, nobody knows where the hell I am, I realized I'd better fix that. So those are my suggestions for you. If you're going out hiking, make sure to let people know where you're going. So I've been walking for a while, and it felt like I was making really good time, considering the conditions. And I know at about 1.25 miles, I'm going to be turning off to climb back up to the road. And I want to see how close I was to that. I've hiked 0.6 miles. The snow really throws off your speed, and you don't really realize it because you feel like you're putting one foot in front of the other and making good time. But it really is much slower. You're having to step more carefully, sliding around a bit. There really is no way to check trail conditions on trails like these, unless somebody on all trails happened to do this route and happened to post whether or not the trails were covered in snow. And part of that's my own stupidity. Just because we don't have snow where I live doesn't mean there isn't snow here. They're further north here, and they're on the other side of the mountains. So we tend to get missed by a lot of storms that hit the mountains and get shunted off, usually to the north. So we don't get it very much, which is disappointing because I like snow. So I'm trying very hard not to get anxious about sunset, which I believe is about 5:15, 5:20. I should check that. At hiking 1 mile an hour, I was fine. But if I'm only hiking 0.5 mile an hour, that's going to be a problem. I have a headlamp, and the route back is just that road walk, so it's not like I have to be following blazes or anything. So everything will be fine. And I just need to keep calm and carry on. So that's what I'm going to do. right, I love this tree because it tells a story. Let me tell you that story. You see all these stumps here, how they're all kind of growing around the same space. Well, what that tells you is that once upon a time, there was a tree here. And it was cut down probably for lumbering when this whole area was lumbered. And most of these trees that you see growing out of here are all coming up from the remains of that original root that fed them as they started out life, and they just kind of ate it down until there was nothing left but the new trees. But we have these two little opportunistic beech trees tucked in here. Oh, sorry, 3, maybe 4. And before these hardwoods got a hold in here, they thought, hey, looks like a good place for us. And they tried to grow in here as well. So all of these are marks of the lumbering that went on in this area. And that's really interesting. The forest tells its own history. Right, the peril of relying on GPS for navigation is when you can't get GPS. So I've been following blue blazes very reliably this whole trail. And I hit my turnoff where I had expected to turn away from the ravine and back towards the road. And everything was going great. And then I realized there weren't any blue blazes. It sort of looked like a trail. There's a lot of snow, so it's hard to tell. But I wasn't seeing the tracks of the dog and person that I'd been following. So I went and looked at my all trails. No GPS signal. So I made the right turn. And I'm heading in the right direction. But I can't tell if I'm on the trail. So I am relying on the map itself and the compass in all trails. And I've double checked it against my Gaia. And that also says I'm going in the right direction. So regardless of whether or not this is the trail, I should end up at the road in half a mile. As long as I don't fall into a ravine or anything. But, not that I'm anxious or anything. Hooray, footprints! I don't know where that came from, because I still don't see any blazes, but they're going in the direction that I'm going, so I'm going to follow them out. I hope they're not coyote tracks. Alright, it is 3 o'clock, and I have made it back to the road. Hallelujah. That was a little more excitement than I really was looking for today. Now, if I follow the road down that way, probably about half a mile, if I am where I think I am, I still don't have GPS, then that will take me to the Overlook. The road That way will take me in a little over a mile and a quarter, mile and a half back to the car. As you can see, it's still all very covered in snow and ice, and it's going to be slow going. Sunset is at 5:15. So I think I am going to do the smart thing, and I'm going to pass on the Overlook for today. We'll save that for another day. I'm going to put my micro spikes on, and I'm going to head back to the car. I'm very warm. My feet are starting to hurt. It's a lot of slipping and sliding, and I was breaking a lot of trail that last mile, 3/4 of a mile. So I think I'm going to be kind to myself, listen to my body, listen to my brain, and get out of Dodge. Should still be a pretty walk. Let's go see what's on the road. So you might be saying to yourself about now, why does she keep posting these videos where she fails at her hikes? Well, it's because you can't fail a hike. Hiking is not a win-lose sport. It's an experience sport. And as long as you got up out of your chair and did something, then you hike, and you're a hiker. And it doesn't matter if that hike is a mile, and it doesn't matter if that hike is 2,000 miles. If you went out and challenged yourself and saw something you hadn't seen before, or learned something about yourself that you didn't know before, or learned something about the world that you didn't know before, then you have hiked, and you have hiked successfully. By saying, well, you set this goal for yourself and you didn't reach it, so you failed, you're saying that there are some people who can be hikers, and some people who cannot be hikers. Well, and that's bullshit. There are people hiking in wheelchairs who are much better hikers than I am. But that doesn't make me any less of a hiker either. Just because my preferred mileage is 4 to 6 miles. That doesn't make me less of a hiker than somebody who can do 20 miles in a day. So if that's holding you back from hiking, stop thinking like that. Get out of your chair. Go walk around the block. Congratulations, you're a hiker. Alright. Looks like I'm getting back to the parking lot because I'm running into some people. Hey guys. So I'm going to put this away so I don't embarrass myself anymore. Thank you very much. And that's us back to the car. So, and embarrassingly, that only took me 20 minutes to get back here. I don't know if I wasn't where I thought I was on the trail or what the deal was, but that went very quickly. The microspikes helped. That was my first time walking in microspikes. It was an interesting sensation. It was a little bit taller, but a lot grippier. Where I'd been slipping and sliding on the way out, I just strode right on home, which probably contributed to how fast I was able to get back here. Interesting things I saw. I saw a lot of animal poo that I think might have been coyotes because it had a lot of fur in it. And I was pretty sure that I was seeing dog poo as well, but it did not have the fur in it. So I'm not sure what that was, but I'm gonna guess that it was coyotes. So that was interesting. And I couldn't get it on film, but I did get to watch a woodpecker for a little bit, and that was nice. I have been reminded that my pace is not constant. And it's really good to go out and hike in different conditions because your pace will be different in different conditions. The last time I was hiking in snow was last year when I was first starting to hike. So I didn't even know anything about pace. I just went out, got it done, came home. And that was probably a factor here today too. Yes, I was slower. If I had gotten out here at the time that I normally do, around 9 o'clock in the morning, I'd have had plenty of time. I wouldn't have worried. I'd have gone out to the overview and come back. But the sun's going to set in about an hour, and I know, at least in our area further south, we're expecting snow tonight. And I really can't tell. The forecast up here says they aren't, so it may be coming up the coast, but I didn't want to take that chance. If I had to spend the night out, I wouldn't have been happy and I wouldn't have been comfortable, but I'd have been okay. I have my 10 essentials, I have fire, I have shelter, I have some extra clothes, so I would have been okay if I had to stay out here overnight. That wasn't going to happen. I was going to be able to get out of here, but when you're lost in the woods, it doesn't matter how much your rational brain assures you you're fine. Your animal brain starts panicking right from the jump, and you just have to work through that and keep moving, which I did, and I got back. I don't regret shortening the trail. My feet are aching. My IT band is bothering me again. So it was the right decision. We will absolutely come back out here sometime when we just want a quick out and back. Maybe I'll bring Nikki out here for a hike sometime because I still would like to see the Overlook. But all right, that's it for this week. Next week, Deb wants to go out on another adventure. I'm not sure what it's going to be. I'm sure it's probably going to be more than we think we can handle, but we'll get through it because we always do. We always make it back to the car. I hope you'll come along and see what it is. Thanks for joining me. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.